Okay, we've all been there, right? You're face to face with someone's anger. And what's our gut reaction? To put up a wall, to get defensive. But what if that's completely the wrong way to think about it? What if, instead of seeing a wall, you realized you were actually looking through a window?
I mean, you know the signs. You can practically feel the air charge up. The face gets red, maybe you see a fist clench, the voice gets sharp, it gets loud. It's a signal we all recognize instantly, and it puts our brain on immediate high alert.
And so, what do? We build our own walls, right? We see their anger as a threat, an attack. It's a battle we have to either win or, at least get through. We just brace for that impact.
But let's just pause for a second. What if that whole bracing for impact thing is causing us to miss the single most important part of what's actually happening in that moment? What if that wall isn't a wall at all? This is the big idea, the one that changes everything. Anger isn't a wall, it's a window. Just let that sink in for a minute. It totally reframes the entire situation. Instead of something you have to block, it becomes something you can actually look through.
And why is it a window? Well, because in that raw, heated moment, all the usual social masks, all the filters we put up, they just fall away. For a brief, really intense moment, angry people become transparent. You get this incredibly rare peek at what's really going on inside.
So if we actually do it, if we choose to look through this window instead of throwing up a wall, what are we going to see? What does someone else's anger really show us? Well, when you look through that window, you get this totally unfiltered view of what's going on inside them. You start to see what they truly value. I mean, the stuff that's so important to them, they're willing to fight for it. You can see their fears, their real priorities, and where their loyalties actually are. And a lot of the time, you'll find it points right to an old wound, some past hurt that's still pretty raw. And what you see, well, it can go one of two ways. Sometimes that anger is coming from a really good place, from virtue. Think about a coworker who's furious about an unfair decision. That anger is actually revealing their deep sense of justice. But yeah, it can also shine a light on the darker corners of a person, exposing insecurity, jealousy, things like that. But here's the thing. Whether what you see is noble or maybe a little ugly, it's real. It's authentic. That emotional outburst is a raw, unfiltered signal pointing to what is genuinely happening inside of them. It's a moment of truth, and those are pretty rare.
Okay, so we get what we can see. That's the theory. But how do we actually use this? This is where we get practical and talk about how to turn what feels like a conflict into a moment of genuine connection.
The very first step is a huge mental shift. You have to stop looking at an outburst as just a problem that needs to be shut down. Instead, you have to start seeing it as a stream of incredibly valuable data. Your goal isn't just to manage the fight. It's to understand the information that's being handed to you. So here's a roadmap that works for pretty much anyone. A manager, a parent, a friend. First, you got to approach it with real curiosity, not judgment. Second, start asking questions to understand. Not, why are you yelling at me? But more like, help me understand what's so frustrating about this. Then you listen. You listen past the noise for the value that's underneath it all. And finally, and this is so important, respond to the person and what they care about, not just to the shouting. All right, so how do we make sure we actually remember to do this, to keep that window open? Let's boil it all down to the key takeaways you can use the next time you're in one of these situations. Try to keep these 4 ideas in your back pocket. 1. Anger shows you what someone really cares about. What's at stake for them? 2. Always lead with curiosity. Trying to understand is way more powerful than trying to be right. 3. See these moments as opportunities. They're a chance to build trust, not just to win a fight. And last, number 4, separate the person from the behavior. You can address how they're acting while still validating the reason they're upset. So we end up right back where we started, with this simple but really powerful idea. The next time you see that flushed face, the next time you hear that raised voice, what are you going to do? Are you going to build that wall and just brace yourself? Or will you have the courage to just pause, get curious, and see what's on the other side of the glass?